Matches Balone.
Hey YouTube, I'm bringing you guys another desktop video. Bleeding Cool, a comic book website, has been releasing some small articles, tidbits on some rumors of the DC Comics Rebirth. For those of you who don't know, DC Comics is gonna make some type of event that they titled Rebirth. At this moment, nobody really knows what it is. There's a lot of speculation that this could be resetting the universe to setting all their comics back to number one. Some people think this is a soft launch where we're going to continue with the numbering. So let's just jump in and see what these Bleeding Cool articles have to say on some of these rumors. I do want to stress that these are rumors, nothing is confirmed, so everything here could be true, could be false, and we're not really going to know until Rebirth happens and DC Comics comes out and says exactly what are their plans. But here in the first article it says DC Comics Rebirth. Before every number one, they'll get a Rebirth issue in June. So I've already read through these, and they're very small, so I'll just go over the main talking points. But basically, what this article was saying that if you look at this order, it's gonna go Batman 49, Batman 50, Batman 51, Batman 52. Then around June, in the first half of June, we'll get a Rebirth issue just titled Batman Rebirth, and then in the second half of June, we will get a Batman Rebirth. A Batman number one. And the reason that there's gonna be two issues that month is that Batman is apparently gonna become a bi-weekly book. So normally one comic book will come out once a month. And now DC Comics wants to change some of their books to come out every 2 weeks. So that means in 1 month you would get two comic books by the same title. Now, not every title is going to become bi-weekly. Some are still staying as a monthly book. But some of their bigger titles, Batman obviously is going to become bi-weekly. So if this does happen, it will start in June apparently. And the first book would be the Batman Rebirth, and then it will be book one. And then in July, in the first half, we'll get book two, and then book three, and so on. So every issue would go on like that. And like I said, if it's a monthly book, those will stay the same. But apparently, they will still get that Rebirth issue. So the rumor is that all these books that started from the New 52, they will land on issue 52. That would end. The following book would be the Rebirth issue, where it's gonna set up the story for what I guess the new continuity is gonna be, and then the following book would be the brand new number one. Again, this is all rumored, so we don't know if this is really the order, or even if this is gonna happen. Maybe they just straight go into number one. But definitely looks interesting. And like I said, or I haven't said it, sorry. But this all seems like a jumping on point, Batman v Superman is going to be in theaters. A lot of people are going to become aware of the DC Comics brand, and I think this whole Rebirth is just a fresh start for anybody who hasn't been following, the past, I guess, 5 years of New 52, or even all the years prior to that. They have a jumping on point, and they can know who these characters are, what's the story so far, and just to keep going. The other article, DC Comics Rebirth. Tom King is the new Batman bi-weekly writer. So, apparently Scott Snyder, he's the current Batman writer. He's going to be switching to Detective Comics. Detective Comics is going to stay as a monthly book. And then the writer for Grayson, Tom King, he's going to be switching over to the main Batman book that's going to become bi-weekly. If this does become true, I think it makes sense. Scott Snyder, his entire Batman run so far, he's had long story arcs. We're talking 5-6 issues, or even bigger. And I think the bi-weekly wouldn't suit him that well because you would either have to make smaller story arcs or you would have to make them at a faster rate. And I think Scott Snyder, he's the type of person who really likes to plan out what he's gonna write and take his time to like set it up nicely. And so I think a monthly book like Detective Comics would suit him a lot better. Tom King, I haven't been reading Grayson, but I heard a lot of great things about it. If you guys listen to the Weird Science blog podcast of DC Comics, that's actually their like book of 2015. So I have been hearing great things about it. I'm interested in it. I haven't been really keeping up with a lot of comic books just because I had other things going on, and so I had to let it go. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm just gonna wait for this rebirth and jump on these comics. And I think Tom King being on Batman, it's definitely interesting. And yeah, again, this is all rumored, but I think these are if this does become a reality, I think these are some good plans, some good shuffling of creative team. I do want to say they kind of they make a reference to the Star Wars and Darth Vader comics over at Marvel, where it's like they take place in the same universe but their own separate storylines, and that's what they said it's going to happen with the Batman book and the Detective comic book, where they're kind of in and out of each other's stories, but you could read each one separately. So that was definitely interesting. Another article here they wrote has been DC Comics Rebirth, rumored canceled comics including Starfire, Midnighter, and Black Canary. So like every big event, when they're gonna start new comics, there are gonna be some other comics that are unfortunately gonna get canceled. Um, but I'll read you the ones that are rumored. It's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Grayson, Starfire, Black Canary, Midnighter, and Doctor Fate. Some of these, we're definitely gonna see them in other books, right? Batman, he's gonna have his own book. Superman's gonna have his own book. Wonder Woman's gonna have his own book. If you're reading Titans Hunt right now, Dick Grayson actually put spoilers. I don't want to ruin for anyone, but it was like issue 4. Dick Grayson has put on his Nightwing suit again, and I think he's basically just gonna revert back to the Nightwing character, and that's why we're no longer gonna have a Grayson super spy type of comic book. Starfire, she in the New 52, she started with Red Hood and Arsenal, and now she's on her own. I have a feeling she's probably just gonna go back to another team book. It could be Red Hood and Arsenal again, or it could be, she goes back to Teen Titans. I don't know if they're gonna keep the same Teen Titans team, but currently there's Beast Boy and Raven, and I think Starfire is another one of those key characters that everybody recognizes, so it would just make sense to kind of put her back in the Teen Titans and make that team up a lot more familiar for other people. But yeah, Black Canary again, like she's been having team ups with Batgirl, so she can easily fall into that comic book. They could make a Birds of Prey comic book, like. Even though these books are getting canceled, I don't think this is the end of these characters. I think these characters are either gonna fall into a new comic book for themselves, or they're just gonna go in other people's comics. But we'll still see these characters in this universe. I really doubt they're gonna be gone forever. And even here, right now that I'm reading, it does say Starfire will go to Titans, Black Canary will go to Birds of Prey, and Grayson will go to Nightwing. So yeah, it does seem like this is not the end of these characters. Yeah, the next article, DC Comics Rebirth. Peter Tomasi is the new Superman bi-weekly writer. So I'm definitely interested in this. My reading habits has been mainly Batman and Robin and Batman centric. The first time I jumped into like actually reading a full comic book run, because I've always been an on and off comic book reader. It's been kind of hard to like just jump in and kind of know what the story is. But the first book I really started to jump in was the original Batman and Robin comic back in 2009, and I stayed with that book and I followed it all the way when New 52 happened, and there was a new Batman and Robin comic. In the New 52 version, Peter J. Tomasi was the writer, and I think he's a really great storyteller. He really knows the characters. And that book, there was guest appearances from not only Batman and Robin, but all of the Bat family and the Justice League. And he really did. it lasted for about I think 40 issues. So I was entertained throughout the whole thing, and it was always a good read personally for me. So for him switching to Superman, I'm definitely interested in that. Like I said, I have faith in the writer. And I am a huge Superman fan. I was reading the Superman comic, but like all other comics, I had to kind of stop buying them. I believe I left off around issue 30. It could be issue 29, issue 30. But so I did get into the DC. I mean, I'm sorry, I did get into the Superman comic for a while. So I definitely eager to kind of jump back in and Peter J. Tomasi. If this does happen, like I said, it's everything here is a rumor. If this does happen, it's definitely an exciting thing. Also, it does sound like this is confirming that this is going to become a bi-monthly book. So like Batman is going to come out every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure what he was writing currently because I know he did he was doing something else aside from Batman and Robin. But yeah, definitely interesting. The next article, DC Comics Rebirth, a new Justice Society of America ongoing title. So for those of you who don't know, Justice Society was kind of like think of the Justice League, a team of superheroes, but this took place back in time, like in history, like around World War II. And these were these heroes that banded together to help fight the war, and then eventually, when the war was ended, they stayed together, but they were like the heroes, or they were the Justice League of that time. Currently, in the current continuity, they were never formed here in our world, but they were formed in, I believe, Earth 2. And this article goes in to say that they're gonna reintroduce some of these members are already introduced in the New 52 and the New 52 and the DCU right now, but they're gonna reintroduce the team. But the thing is, they're gonna be younger versions of them. These were always like older heroes, right? Like Jay Garrick in the original Green Lantern. But apparently they're going to be the younger versions of them, and they're going to be fighting alongside the Justice League. So I'm not sure how I feel about that because they've always been like two separate teams, and they have had team ups, but it's always been that like mentor to student type of role. And I don't know like if this is gonna like if the team themselves will be still take place within the Justice League comic, like, or is it gonna be two separate comics? I don't know. Definitely, I'm not 100% sure if I'll pick up this book if this does become a reality. But like all things, I'll give it a try and see what's up. Yeah. The next article, DC Comics Rebirth, Damian Wayne to lead the new Teen Titans. So I'm a huge Damian Wayne fan. He's the current Robin right now. I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. What it's a little puzzling to me is that I really thought that the current book Titans Hunt, where it has the original like Teen Titan members, and they're going on this mission, and they're basically forming the old school Teen Titans. I thought that book was going to transition, and we were going to get a new Teen Titans book, but with the original teams. This kind of makes me think that this is going to be a new Teen Titans book, but it's going to still have new team members. The fact that Damian Wayne is the leader, I think that's fine. I mean, Robin or a Robin type of character has always been the leader for the Titans. There have been other leaders, but like mainly people always remember Robin being the first superhero part of that team. But this makes me think like, are they gonna end the current Robin Son of Batman comic? Like because Damian's on this big mission. With the man, I'm skipping on names, but he's basically traveling the world with this like League of Assassins type of thing. So that makes me think like, is that book gonna end and he's gonna stay with the Titans for a while and he's gonna lead them? Who's the teammates on that Titans? This doesn't really go too much into it. Other than this image, but like I said, all these are rumors and they're very small, so there's no real like fact or evidence or like this is how it's gonna end up. But I'm definitely interested in it. Like I said, I like the Titans, like Damian Wayne. Yeah. So the next article, DC Comics Rebirth. The big idea is a secret from Batman v Superman kept from creators and editors. This is basically saying that the whole idea or the premise behind DC Rebirth has something to do with the Batman v Superman movie. But they don't know because they're keeping it a secret from all their editors and creators because obviously they want to keep the movie a surprise for everybody. And to be quite honest, this seems a little obvious. Like I keep saying, Batman v Superman is going to be a huge movie. Suicide Squad is going to be later on in the year. That's going to be a huge movie. The following year, we're going to get Wonder Woman, Justice League. Following year, we're going to get, Flash and Aquaman. Like, these movies are going to draw the attention from people who haven't been reading comics. So it just makes sense to either form a new universe where people can jump in and they can start reading these stories, or even make these stories a lot similar to the movies. I really hope they don't do that. I hope it's not just a copy and paste type of thing where if the movies are doing this, the comic books are going to do that. I would like them to keep them separate so we can have different stories. But yeah, like I think it's been very obvious that this whole rebirth has to do something with the launch of Batman v Superman in theaters. So yeah. The final article Bleeding Cool has put up so far is this one: DC Comics Rebirth, Trinity comic to return, starring Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So this one pretty much just goes to show, or just goes to say that the reason they're canceling Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman is that they're gonna have all three of them in a new book. And they say it's going to be a bi-weekly book. So again, one of those books that comes out every 2 weeks, and it's going to be titled Trinity. Trinity was an old comic where again it was stories of these three, and it's pretty much that. And I think it makes sense if in Batman v Superman the main two guys of the movie is going to be Batman and Superman, and obviously in some of the recent trailers we've seen Wonder Woman there. So these three characters are definitely going to be in the conscious of the public's mind, and I think it just makes sense to capitalize it and have a book where you're going to get these three all the time for every story, right? I know Justice League, they're already there, but it's not always every team member is there at every story, and if we have a book that's constantly out there that has all three team members, I think it just makes sense. So, yeah, like I said, sorry, I'm a little sick. But like I said, these are all just like some rumored articles. Nothing is true, but I wanted to go over and kind of tell you guys, what are my thoughts on all these stuff, and just kind of keep you informed and keep you up to date with this DC Rebirth. Comment down below. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in any of this? If you guys are a new comic book reader, are you going to jump on? If you guys have been reading the comics, are you kind of like enough is enough and you're leaving? But yeah, comment down below, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you weren't a fan, and subscribe, and hopefully look forward to more videos. So, later.